Alright guys, do small engine repair mechanics need air? Absolutely. Couldn't do without it. Let me show you why. You got a few things here where you can use air. Main thing, tires. You pump up tires and tubes and so forth. You want a decent air chuck. You can get the one without the gauge. I like the one with the gauge because the tires all have the pressures on them, and it's just good to know and good to have, okay? One of my favorites is something I built long ago. This thing's older than most of you guys out there watching me. This gun's probably 35 years old. I took a regular air blow-off gun. I took a piece of brass 1/8 tubing, a ferrule and a fitting to fit in the end of the gun because the guns are always tapped for 1/8 MPT usually. And now I got a nice long clean out gun where I can actually reach in. I can blow out all these little crevices and everything and get an engine nice and clean. People are like, oh, where do you get the brass tubing from? Well, you could buy blow-off guns, but they usually have big tubes on them. I like the small tube because you can get in. Go to your auto parts store, get a 1-foot piece of brake line. The newer brake line is copper nickel. It's fairly soft. Usually comes with the fitting on the one end. You can get the other fitting at Home Depot. This is for a 16th MPT. Or just get a compression fitting for a 1/8 tube. You can get that at Plumbing Supply House, Home Depot, they all sell them. But make one of these, guys. If you're working on small engines, or you just want to get in there and blow out some details, yeah, I love it. It's a good tool. What else do I use air for? Well, you can go to Walmart and buy one of these cheap Campbell Hoffels kit. They sell them all over the place. This is what I used before I had my cordless impact. The 1/2-inch impact that's pneumatic, and also the air chisel. And it comes with a blowgun. I never use this one, but basically you can see it's threaded on the end so you can adapt it to a piece of tubing. But anyway, one thing I like is the muffler chisel. And what I do with the muffler chisel, you can use a chisel bit. You can chisel off mufflers, you can chisel off, bolt heads, rivets, things like that. But I like the blunt end, all right? Let's see if I can get this thing out. This blunt end is nice. I use it for flywheels on chainsaws and other small engines, where if the flywheel's stuck, you can't get it off, you put a pry bar behind the flywheel, you put that blunt end in the center drill hole on the end of the crankshaft, buzz it in, and I tell you, they fall right out. So all I'm saying, guys, is pneumatic, is it worth it? Absolutely. The only thing I would tell you when you buy a compressor, if you don't want to get woken up at 2 in the morning because your compressor is loud as all get out, buy an oil compressor, one that uses oil for lubrication. If you buy an oil-less compressor, which are always cheaper, and they always have them on sale, you will regret the oil-less. I have one, and you know what? When it goes off at 2 in the morning, it wakes the whole house up, even though it's downstairs. It is loud. So do yourself a favor, buy an oil-less compressor. All right, that's it for my tool minute here. Pneumatics, do we need them? Absolutely. Can't deal without them. There's other uses for pneumatics too. I'll get to those in another video, but at this point, you see what I use for pneumatic, and that's it. All right, guys, take care. We'll talk to you soon.